it's no one's job like to coddle you and tiptoe around your triggers. If you Hey girl, hey, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sky.Onjahnae. If you are new here, and stick around, homegirl, let's chat boundaries. The definition of boundaries is the line that marks the limit of an area. So pretty much, don't cross my line. Don't cross this line that I set for you in order to, protect both of us, okay? So I think it's important to understand why boundaries are important. For one, like I said, they're for both parties. They're to want to protect your peace, and as well to keep the relationship strong between you and whoever the person is, whether that's your family, your friends, your significant other, yourself, because we all need to have boundaries within ourselves. A lot of people don't know that. If you didn't know that, let me know down in the comments if you didn't know that we have to have boundaries for our own selves. Time is a big boundary we need to have for ourselves, but we will get into that in another video. I think understanding the importance of boundaries, as well as the issues as to why boundaries are so hard for people to, enforce, will in turn help you enforce those boundaries, because you'll be able to work on those areas within yourself that keeps you from being able to enforce those boundaries. Because it's not so much that you don't have boundaries, it's just that you don't know how to firmly enforce them. So I've broken this down into 3 reasons as to why I feel like boundaries are so hard for people to set, and how to actually work on that so that you can stand firm in your boundaries, and you can have flourishing, thriving relationships with people around you and yourself. So the first one I want to talk about is self-awareness. A lot of people are not self-aware. A lot of people, it takes things happening for them to realize, oh, okay, I don't like this, or I don't necessarily want to do certain things or act a certain way or be around a certain type of people, which that's fine, because that's how we grow, that's how we learn ourselves. The issue comes in when we don't sit and really feel what we're feeling and try to understand to the core what those feelings are, because I think a lot of times we like to react first, so we don't take time to sit and think about what we're feeling, which is what I've learned. Like in my relationship, I had to learn to sit and understand what I'm feeling, so it's better for me to communicate that. This is a lot easier said than done, because like I said, a lot of people are not self-aware. I am, thankfully, I am one of those people. I am very self-aware. There's nothing you can tell me about myself that I don't already know. But it's just a matter of if I feel like it's worth fixing or not. That's really the thing with me. Sorry to interrupt your video, homegirl, but listen, it's part of Black History Month, and with me being an entrepreneur myself, I want to take this month to highlight Black businesses. And today's first Black business I want to highlight is the Melanated Bar. The Melanated Bar is Black owned, of course, Black woman owned as well, and it's a Black owned skincare company. They have natural products in all of their skincare products. They're homemade, and they're just formulated for our melanated skin. I personally love them. I've only been using their products for a week now, and I've already noticed a huge difference in my skin. I have the turmeric face scrub, I have the turmeric face bar, the white willow bark toner, the charcoal face bar, and the sea clay mask. So I have a bunch of items from there because, listen, we try to get the skin together, honey, okay? But yes, definitely make sure you try them out. I'm going to be leaving the link to their website down in the description bar. Now let's resume our video, shall we? It's easy for me to just say no and not worry about if it's going to be a conflict. If it's a conflict, then that's pretty much on their end, because they can't they don't want to, respect your boundaries, or they don't understand them. It's not necessarily for them to understand. It's just for them to respect, okay? But the thing is, nobody owes you anything either, so you cannot hold them to that. If they choose not to respect your boundaries, then that should be your sign to jump ship, because they don't care about you. Like, I know my best friend, her sleep is so important to her. Like, she says, if you wake the beast, you're gonna get the beast, and I don't want no beast. Like, so if I know I'm gonna call her and it's kind of late, I'll send her the eyes emoji. So if she leaves a text message sound, it won't wake you up like someone calling or FaceTiming you. So sending her those emojis, that's my way of respecting her boundaries. And 9 times 10, she'll either be up and she'll send the eyes back, or she'll know, okay, let me just call her because I'm just checking to see if she's up before I call. So that's a small boundary. But when it comes to big ones, that's when it's a little harder to communicate. So that brings me to my next point: communication. So many people lack communication skills, and that stems from a lot of like anger or even childhood not being able to speak up for yourself, which again, in my case, I didn't grow up like that. I've always been able to voice how I feel about things, but I know everyone wasn't like blessed to have those type of parents. So being able to communicate is something that you actually need to do in all aspects of your life, and a lot of people don't know how to do that. So in turn, because they don't know how to communicate effectively, what usually tends to happen, it does create conflict when you are trying to set boundaries, because one, you may not be like, you may come off more aggressive than you need to. It's not like necessarily you're being disrespected, unless you feel disrespected when someone crosses your boundaries. I feel that, but understanding that it's not intentional, and that you should not, if you want someone to respect you in return, and especially if you're asking someone to respect your boundaries, you need to be respectful when you speak to them. Effective communication is key. So let me just give you an example. I don't like being told what to do. I think that's why I'm an entrepreneur, because I don't like being told what to do. If your name is not Regina or George, you cannot tell me what to do. And when I first meet people, that's literally one of the first things I say, because sometimes people say things and it comes off as if they're telling you what to do, and I don't want it to get to a point where someone does that and I'm automatically offended. So I tend to tell people that off bat, like, when you get to know people, one of my biggest pet peeves is people telling me what to do, because no one's going to tell me what to do if they're not my parent. And so I had a situation, like, it was my freshman year of college with my friends. That was one of the first things I told her, but she decided to test it, because she said she didn't think that I was as serious as I was. I didn't say, like, what she was telling. I don't even the situation was so stupid. Like, she was trying to get me to go to the gym, and I was like, I'm not going. And she was basically like, you're going. She went in my room, grabbed my shoes and keys and stuff, like, just wilding. Like, and I just looked at her and I was like, I told you, nobody tells me what to do. And I looked at our other friend and I was like, when y'all come back to the gym, you let me know, then we can continue hanging out. I was not even engaging in that, because I've already said my boundaries, so I'm just not doing it. That is so hard for a lot of people, but that's one thing. There's no like way to teach you to do that. You just have to do it. Like, you just have to do it. You can't, like, if you tiptoe around your boundaries, then how's anybody going to respect them? They're not, because you are not even respecting your own boundaries that you put in place. So from that point on, like, and that's with everybody, from that point on, she was like, I'm not telling you. Like, she would say things, she'd be like, I'm not telling you, I'm asking you, because she saw that I truly get so upset, especially when I've already voiced that I don't like this and you do it anyway. Now I'm upset because you're blatantly disrespecting, you're blatantly telling me I don't care what you're saying. And so I respond like that. So I just pretty much gave her the cold shoulder and just looked, because like I said, I don't engage in like conflict, especially like if it's something stupid, and like there's nothing for me to say to you after I've already told you I don't like this. And that's with everybody. Just like, I'm not the friend you call to fight, because I'm not fighting. I'm not the friend you call to pull up on a dude, because I'm not doing that either. I'm not the friend, like, it's just a lot of things that I know that I'm not going to do, and I enforce that. And if you, like I said, if you're not enforcing them, no one's going to respect that, because you don't even respect it yourself, but you want someone else to respect it. And people do what you allow them to do. So if you're allowing them to continue to cross your boundaries, you're saying that your boundaries don't even mean anything to you. So why do I care? People are not going to have as much urgency about things regarding you as you do. Conflict comes out of that, that's just what it is. A lot of times people are afraid, and that brings me to my third one: fear. You can be afraid to communicate your boundaries because you don't want the other person to feel away, but you feel all these type of emotions when they cross your boundaries, and all that's going to do is just going to build and build and build until you finally explode, and they're going to be like, well, what the heck, you could have just told me. A lot of times if you just open your mouth and talk to that person, especially if there's somebody close to you. You shouldn't be worried about, unless you have a communication issue, then yes, work on like how to communicate that. But if it's something that truly bothers you, you should have no issue communicating that with that person, because in turn, if it becomes an issue for that person, they're not really there for you. Like, they don't support you, they don't love you. And that's just how I feel. Like, if I communicate how I feel, or if something is upsetting me and you're mad because I told you, you don't care. Cause what do you want me to do? You want me to just let you do what you want despite me telling you how I feel about it? No. Once you get over the fear of like the other person being upset with you, it'll be easier for you to communicate that, because at the end of the day, if these are truly your people, the people that you're around majority of the time, your people you love, the people are supposed to love you back, you shouldn't be afraid to communicate how you feel. And if you are, that just means that you know that person is not necessarily the best, and this is not if you have a communication issue. Obviously, if you have communication issues, because you know you tend to come at people crazy, so of course someone's going to come back at you crazy. But I'm talking about for people who are just strictly afraid to lose relationships because they communicate their boundaries. That just means internally you already know this person is not truly there for you. If you can't open your mouth and say, hey, when this happened, you did this, I felt like this, that means you already know there's something in them that they don't truly support you, they don't truly love you. And that's just firmly how I believe. I don't have an issue telling anybody, like any of my friends, when I have an issue. But I can't use myself as an example, because anytime I have an issue or anytime I have something to say, I say it. Because I'm not going to let people walk all over me. I'm not going to let people say what they want to say to me or do what they want to do. So I'm just that type of person. And it's hard for me to, like I said, it's easier said than done. So just try to understand and practice those things. Like, try to get out of the fear of possibly you losing the relationship. If you're losing it, you don't need it. Learn how to communicate, so that when it comes to communicating your boundaries, you're able to communicate them effectively. That way the other person doesn't feel disrespected, and you don't feel like you have to go off on somebody every time they cross your boundaries, because you communicate them effectively enough that they should know. But if they don't, again, you can either choose to continue to working with them, or and learn yourself. Learn what upsets you and the reason why, so that you're not so triggered. Like, it's no one's job like to coddle you and tiptoe around your trigger. If you know that something triggers you, you need to figure out why and fix it, so that way if someone does accidentally do it, because a lot of times people aren't crossing your boundaries for fun. Getting angry at them, you're the one's going to look crazy, because you don't even understand why you're upset. Like, it's not enough to say, oh, I don't like it. Which, I mean, it's enough for you to tell them that, okay? You don't have to explain to them why you don't like a certain thing. Just let them know you don't like it. But it's for you to understand, okay, I don't like this because of this. And it has nothing to do with this person. It has everything to do with what I'm feeling inside and like what I've been through, or whatever the case may be. So you need to understand those feelings, so that you can effectively communicate, and so that you can not be afraid to, speak about this stuff. But that's all I have for this video. I hope you really enjoyed it, and I will see you all in my next video.